This is an SM Media production.
Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of SM Media Road to Cheltenham 2024. I'm Scott Pike. It's a pleasure as always to be your host, and I'm delighted as always to be joined by from the Scottish Daily Mail, Calum McClurkin.
Hi there, yeah, all good. Cheltenham Trials Day been and done, in straight into the Dublin Racing Festival. Good cars around in Musselburgh and Sandown as well. So yeah, it's this kind of really crunch time, last kind of proper prep probably for Cheltenham and the festivals. But yeah, it's festival season is looming large now.
It certainly is, yeah. In regards to the Dublin Racing Festival, stay tuned. So we will be doing a double show tonight. So we will be doing, first of all, we'll do obviously our normal Road to Cheltenham episode, and we'll do a bonus Dublin Racing Festival preview where we'll preview all the races at the DRF. So stay tuned for that. It'll drop after this show goes out. So yeah, we are in crunch time with a lot of clues last weekend in terms of the kind of potential horses that will be featuring at the top of the markets in the big races at the Cheltenham Festival. We've only got one question this week, and it's regards to Trials Day. What is your non-winning eye catcher from Trials Day? Is it too hard to say John Bon, or is there other ones?
There's plenty of others. John Boyd probably the obvious one, but I mean, even in relation to Cheltenham, you'd be hard pressed to back him now, I would think. For me, it was Prairie Wolf in the second race behind Ginny's Destiny. He was only one that kind of went up with Ginny's Destiny early on and tried to press hard, and he actually travelled quite well into it, suggesting that he's a well handicapped horse. He's just been totally outclassed by a really classy operator that's now second favourite for the Turners. He weakened out into fourth. He's not been moved in the handicap at all for that. He's rated 1, 2, 3 off for Sue Smith. So maybe he's probably going to plunder something at the end of the season. Maybe down in Class 3 company. But yeah, Prairie Wolf, he looks. It's only his third start in fences as well. So he looks like an improved one. He can probably take a Northern handicap between now and the end of the season.
The one I quite liked was in the last race, actually, the one Gidley Park run. I quite liked how Isaac Desabo shaped up. I don't know if he'll be any kind of player in a Cheltenham race. It might not even go to the festival, but see like something like kind of later on at Sandown or something like that. I think he could be a potential horse for like next year. Similar kind of way to maybe a McFabulous, maybe just kind of shaped up well in a race before the festival, skipped it, and you thought maybe going into next year, this is a decent horse to be on the
Mm-hmm.
right side of. So I wouldn't be totally against him. I quite liked First Street as well. I thought he showed that he's not champion hurdle class, but see if he went down like a county hurdle route, I think he could be something for me as well. We're probably behind the weights, but I thought the way kind of tipped Roadbull for third. They obviously had no chance in behind Lossiemouth, to be fair, but kept on well at the end. I think he's just going to find obviously champion hurdle level too high, but he's probably going to he's got a decent handicap in him, I think. So they would be my two, but. Send us your questions in below for next week. We'll do a bit more questions next week, but we will move on to a busy recap. Right, Callum, we'll start in Cheltenham on Saturday. We've got 9 horses to talk about in Cheltenham. We'll start with the first race, which was won by Sergino, the Triumph Trial. Very impressive performance. Beat Burdett Road by 10 lengths. Now into kind of even money, 11-8 for the Triumph Hurdle. Callum, I was taken aback. I liked this horse and I thought this was superb. I thought this was everything you could ask for.
Yeah, this is your man for the Triumph, and he seems to be the right one.
Yep.
It, there was kind of a bit of market confidence behind him before the off against Burdett Road, and then Burdett Road came in a little bit and just edged favouritism. Yeah, it was a strongly run race, suited him well. He get lit up a little bit down the hill, didn't matter. And what he's done from, you know, two out to the line's been really impressive. It's a quicker time than Lossiemouth, and I think everyone thought that was visually very good as well. And you know, a rating of 145. I mean, straight away, a replication of that and a Triumph is puts you bang there in the
Yeah.
mix in a random strong run. Also, I wasn't sure Burdett Road ran to his November form. He's rated 137. I kind of knocked that back a little bit. I gave Sergino 140. Still enough to be right bang there. But there's so much improvement. There is there's always has been this kind of quiet confidence in Nick Henderson Yard about his ability, and he's certainly fulfilling it. But the improvement in all departments from his first run to the second run was quite startling, because I was the only quibble I had about him is, that this is a long-term kind of prospect as well. He will jump a fence down the line. He could easily be an Arkle type next season. So for what he's doing right now at his age, it's very impressive. I think there's more to come. Course and distance form was like Defi de Soy like, and we didn't. And he managed to follow up in the triumph. So while 11 to 8 even money, it's a little bit short given what we don't really know about what the Irish contingent is. But with Salvador Mundy now being looked to be held back and not given an entry, I think the Donnellys are siding with this horse as a French form, rather than Salvador Mundy might be held back. So that's probably another positive. So yeah, you can't knock what he did at all. And Burdett Road, ran okay, but he didn't quite get to his level. And even he improved in the jumping department as well. So definitely make up of a strong race and a very smart winner.
Yeah, really, really happy with it. Really, all systems go to the festival. Another impressive horse that won the next race was Ginny's Destiny. Made all for the front, now into a bit roughly kind of second favourite for the Turners. Won at 4-1. Just looks to me to be a really good kind of solid horse. Again, I think he might find one or two too good for him, but in terms of what he's done so far, I think he's very, very good.
Yeah, the Paul Nicholls improver through the ranks. I think he's achieved more than Stage Star already did last season. At this rate, in a similar path, and Paul Nicholls thinks he's better horse than Stage Star coming into this. Yeah, he needs bona fide class acts like Gaelic Warrior to kind of, run below par. That's plausible in a left-handed track. We don't know what he's going to do in the weekend. He's been a bit of a sleeper, but he's been absolutely hammered in 9-9, 9-2 in places, 5-1. He's the clear, obvious second favourite now. They've got Hermes Allen as well to run this weekend, who could throw his hat in the ring. So, Paul Nicholls has got a few decent kind of handy novice chasers kicking about. He did this well. Prairie Wolf came alongside quite well, really well handicapped rival, I think. Pressed him, batted him off quite well, and then you've got Theatre Man rallying in second, and Esperfecto jumped quite well as a solid kind of benchmark as well. So it was a decent looking novice handicap, and the 2.5 mile route kind of really does tender to Britain's strengths in the way that the programme works. You do get a lot of these kind of handicaps where they can gain quite good experience, and he's a hardy front running sort, and he's going to do what Stage Star tried to do, and it might be good enough. If Gaelic Warrior's a little bit wayward, it's going to put his jumping under pressure. He's got to stay straight.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move into the handicap chase. It was won by Gallo for Jamie Snowden and Gavin Sheehan. Lounge Lizard second for Henry Daly. You had El Ridotto, Jetoy, Champagne Mystery, all decent horses. I thought the winner here was good. I did think he had a good handicap in him. I didn't think it was this one, to be fair.
Yeah, he saved my bacon the day, to be honest. It's Snowden form kind of the yard. They were kind of shining, and he's delivered quite well. He's won this with a good deal of authority. Fifth in the Ryanair last year. He's a decent horse on his day. He's not quite that standard. 150 is about his mark. You can see him coming back for the plate late on the season. There's a race at Kempton that he might go for as well. But yeah, again, it's just this. Britain. It does have. It's probably the strength in itself. It does have these rock solid 2.5 mile handicaps that pop up, left, right, and centre. And that was another good solid form. El Ridotto in fourth. I'd imagine he come back to the festival of similar ratings. So yeah, they all have their chance in the plate later down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move into the Cotswold Chase. There was a huge gamble for Capodanno, and the market proved right. Won well, beat the real whack and stay away from Calum. But over in regards to Capodanno, doesn't have an entry for Cheltenham. You'd imagine the Grand Nationals the target. But in terms of the festival, what are your overall takeaways from this race?
The real whacker went off too slow for me. I was on him. He won the pace battle in the early lead, and then I think they were a bit too deliberate with him, and he stayed on back up the hill as well. I think he didn't quite jump as well as I thought he might, but I think a bit more aggressive ride. I think he would have been a lot closer, and asked a few questions about him, and maybe tapped the likes of Capodanno and stay away for a bit more toe as well. Yeah, it was a decent race. They were all kind of thereabouts at the last. The winner is in the Ryanair. They might take that in before going to Grand National. I quite liked him for the Grand National last year. I thought he partly didn't stay. And I don't see anything that suggests that he will this year either. I think this horse should be taking his chance in a Gold Cup, to be honest. I don't see GP McManus or anything else. Um, I think he might be worth kind of supplementing each way price, but the fact that he's got Gallop and Deschamps, he's probably not bothered. So it says a lot about Willie Mullins' strength and depth there. He was always travelling nicely through the back, and he looked probably the most likely winner out of them all. The second real whackers ran back to form a little bit. It did shape as if he could get the Gold Cup trip, which was probably a doubt last year. He's another pace angle the Gold Cup, but realistically, I don't think he's got much of a chance of winning it. Might hit the frame
Stay away
at
free
best.
went up in your estimations after that.
He did. He did. I think he kind of plugged away. He was a bit slow at a couple, and he kind of get caught a little bit down the hill when it became a dash. But he fought on. He boxed on quite well. He showed he didn't have to necessarily lead. The old course might just again kind of do him, and I can see a kind of similar fate happening where he's staying on at the line. He's beaten a couple of lengths in his second or third because he doesn't quite have that tactical speed. A bit like Jerry Colombe last year. If something gets out and bounces out in a rhythm and stays there, I think he might find it a bit difficult to kind of reel them in. But if it's soft ground, it's attritional, he's still a big player. And, on ratings there, he's ran to good, we have to give him at least mid 150s, which, we would put him bang there on figures anyway. So he deserves enormous respect. I thought he ran really well. And the Hoist-Senior was unlucky because his stirrup completely snapped, which made him untractable. And he was kind of trying to get up sides the real whacker, down the hill. So maybe he's ran with a bit more verve than they expected, but he's probably more kind of inclined to entry later on in the season down there. So it's good form. Whether it will translate to Cheltenham that strongly in terms of Gold Cup, no. Stay away fee, I think, gone up a little bit in my estimations. I think it's a better bet than Grey Dawning.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say he's probably get. I think the fact that the confidence just to go in with the open company, and again, Real Wacker's a Grade One winner. Capodanno's been proven. Townend coming over. Townend played his part beautifully this week with what he did on Saturday. So I think that confidence suggests that they have thoughts that he could be a top kind of Brown advisory contender. And I think you're going to learn more against the open company horses than you are going to against novices that he's probably beaten already. Like he could go into there's no real target between now and Cheltenham for him, so this was a good option to have. So I would
Yeah,
say
it fits the programme. It fits the programme
yeah,
better than a Reynoldston as well. It gives you more
yeah,
time as well.
yeah, absolutely. But we'll move into the Clarence House. A bit of a turn up here. Elixir do not speak John Bond by a neck. I think we've got a new star in the making in Freddie Gingle. John Bond, we've said this the past couple of years actually. The race before the festival, he seems to throw in a bit of a kind of disappointing performance.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wobbler from start to finish. These 2 mile, championship race 2 mile level. If you're out of a rhythm straight away, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what your opposition is. He was backing off things. He was losing his confidence, and he's probably still going to win anyway. And then, in fairness to him, 4 out, that is a race ending error. It was miraculous to stay on him, and it was miraculous that he's lost about 12, 14 lengths there, and he's come back and he's actually committed a bit too soon. Actually got there by the last instead of the line, and then he's just been kind of reeled in again by the only other horse in the race to run to a semblance of form in Elixir
yeah,
de Nuts, which has been enough to run to kind of 152, 153 to kind of hold them off because he's made £20 worth of mistakes. And that's horse racing. This is these things can happen to any horse, no matter how good they are or bad they are. And this is why if you've got a really good horse, yeah, you might up against a superstar, but if that superstar misfires, you can win a Grade One that you didn't think you possibly could, and it's elevated an 18-year-old kid into the stratosphere, and Elixir the Nuts has won a Grade One out of it. Not like Editor the Geek won a Grade One out of it last year. So if you've got good horses and if things go right for you in the day, you can win big races, and maybe that should go into more people's kind of thinking about top class competitive races and don't kind of dodge others too much because these things can happen.
yeah, absolutely. Let's move into Unibet Hurdle. It was won very well by Lossiemouth. She made her seasonal reappearance and looked every inch of a star. She's now into odds on for the Mayor's Hurdle. Connections are targeting the Mayor's Hurdle. There was chat of the Champion Hurdle. I think Mayor's Hurdle's perfect for her this year, and I think she could be a Champion Hurdle horse down the line.
she could be this year. This is a plan, though, isn't it? I mean, it's been a plan for a long way, keeping her, boxed up quite a long time, giving her as much time as possible to grow from 4 into 5, and then find a kind of soft race, and then go to the mare's hurdle route, and then probably the French champion hurdle at the end of the season as well, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, champion hurdle horse. I mean, even people crying for her this year. I mean, she's got a ton to find with Constitution Hill right
Yeah.
now. I mean, let's be honest here, beat nothing. Robo is far better than a right-handed track, like a flat track like Wincanton. So he's not ran to his mark. First Street, yeah, he's very exposed. Love Envoy again is a 2.5 miler by nature. Probably sheeps up with 3 miles as well. And the ground was probably quite quick as well. And the rest haven't done anything here. They run at 140, not 150. They run at 140, and she's getting all these allowances. It was a marginal career best in the figures. It was a 147. All right, there's tons to come. She could probably run to mid 150s easily, at least. But on the figures, I mean, it's 2 stone behind Constitution Hill. You cannot throw her in,
No.
take her on there. You are getting £7, but I mean, you can't do it at the age of 5. She does have the pace and the speed in the class, and looks the part, and visually does look the part, and she can come back and maybe try kind of like I think a career like Honeysuckle potentially is on the cards, but it can definitely wait at the moment. There's far more kind of bad stuff happening in National Hunt Racing than Lossiemouth going mare's hurdle route for me. And I think she's only about £5 clear of Astro Diamond and Calum. So I don't think this is an odds-on banker yet. It's all there and the potential's all there, but way too short at the moment for me.
Noble Yates beat Paisley Park, and if you want a summary of just how Paisley Park is not winning races, look at Tom Bellamy's post-match interview with, I think it was Mick Fitzgerald, where he just looked every inch of the disappointment. But Noble Yates, obviously the plan is obviously to try and get the Grand National back, but I think watching this race, if you can't help but feel some level of emotion for Paisley Park not winning again, then I think there's something wrong.
Yeah, I backed him as well again, and the third time it's happened. I mean, I have it each way successful, but yeah, I know Yates is quirky in his own right as well. This isn't going to be stairs hurdle form down the line. I think your Irish points, T Hoopy can run to 160. These horses can't. I think the winner was well in at the weights. I mean, as well, and that kind of probably won on the day. Paisley Park, he's staying on after the Lord's Mail show again, kind of thing. He kind of was more of his old self, where he hit the old flat spot and didn't quite get there in time. And Noble Yates was kind of well positioned, but I mean, Harry Collins was rustling him along for a long, long way, and there's not an obvious pace angle in it this year, and I think they're going to be left behind by your Irish points and T Hoopers of the world, who I think they're just a bit too classy for them, and they're much younger with scope to improve.
Yeah, final horse at Cheltenham was Gidley Park, won the Bristol Novices Hurdle. Again, kind of Ante maybe didn't do it as flash as you wanted him to, but still good. What do you think, Ballamore or Bartlett now? Like, I know we've had this conversation before. Where do you think?
I would like to see him run a strongly run Ballymore. I think better horses should go kind of maybe for the better races a little bit. He's a chaser down the line, isn't he? He looks like a long term project, but they went slow here, and he was lit up, and he was quite green. He's still kind of not the full kind of article yet. And I thought he could have scrambled it out well. He ran his mark 138. He needs to improve. He needs to improve a bit of stone really to kind of properly figure. But there is no kind of standing star in that race. So he is in the mix, and I think in a bigger field, a true run race, I think he'll be seen to a lot better effect there. So while I didn't really enhance his claims too much, I don't think, because it was quite workmanlike, I don't think he's completely talisman either, and that's why he's left fairly unmoved.
Move into Doncaster. We had Woodoo win the juvenile hurdle there. She's probably at the kind of top of the Boodles market. She's also kind of sitting kind of fifth, sixth in the Triumph market at the moment. She just seems to be that horse that's for Gordon Elliott, who's just going to be so solid. She's not going to be a Grade 1 winner, but in like a Boodles, you might fancy her.
she's kind of a rung below Calaconte, who's probably a rung below the best
Yeah.
potential triumph horses. Yeah, she's just going to nick these kind of valuable listed mares prizes and be far too forward for them. And she was again here, 5 from 5 over hurdles. Which is, for a consistent 4-year-old mare is quite impressive. She won this with authority. Going up trip. And I think she's a potential each way player in a triumph because she's like Calaconte is in a way because she's really straightforward horse. And I think temperament of triumph is definitely got a lot to go for you. So yeah, if you took a chance there, 14, 16s, wouldn't bother me too much.
Yep. We'll move into the Rossington Novices Hurdle. Was won by Jericho de Repine. Not the easiest performance. That was a bit nerve-wracking to watch. Didn't jump well. Not as flashy as we've seen in the past. Callum, where are we with Jericho de Repine in regards to the Supreme?
It's more of the same, isn't it? Really, and this was a more kind of market drift. You're talking about John Bon earlier on. John Bon won this workman-like fashion at Haydock and ran okay in the Supreme subsequently. There is a horse there. It's just whether he needs to go up and trip or he needs another season. He's back because he was hanging. He was a bit awkward. He wasn't actually that much clear in the figures as he suggests. He's rated kind of 127. I'd be quite generous in giving him 132, but I mean in a normal Supreme year he'll need to improve. A stone and a half to even figure. And while that improvement might be there because of his potential, a better race and maybe a bit slower ground as well, and that he might get. There is a lot to kind of. There is a big leap of faith there. But again, the thing in his favour is that we haven't really seen an outstanding 2 mile 4 novice performance yet that you'd say, oh, he's completely out the picture. Well, 8-1 doesn't make too much appeal. There is a talent horse here, and again, a bit like Gidley Park, but probably to a lesser extent. Bigger field or softer run race. It could kind of see him in a bit better light, but yeah, I don't think Mark Walsh would jump off Mystical Power for him if he had the choice at the moment.
Yeah, let's move into the Mares Hurdle. Ashrow Diamond won, Under Control second, Gallimar so third. In regards to this weekend, we probably learn more about the Mares Hurdle market than we have in recent weeks. I thought Ashrow Diamond was good here.
Solid, yeah. Can get a bit keen, which might be a bit of a doubt going up 2.5 miles, but she has winning form and decent form at that level, and she's got form, with the boys that reads, pretty decently in the context of Lossy. But now, this is the thing, it's mares and it's improvement at different times. Lossymouth looks like a complete world beater, and hence why she's that short. But on the figures, there's actually not a great deal in it. And Ashrow Diamond, solid enough jumping and probably too much pace in the day for them. Gallimar Soul looked rusty, looked like she needed it. She might be the one that might take in the Quivega before going to the Mares Hurdle beforehand, because I think she was the one that probably needed a bit more match practice. But I don't think she's totally out of the equation each way either, because the step up to 2.5 miles is going to suit her the most. And I think the ground was drying up maybe a little bit for her than ideal. So I think she'd maybe benefit if it turned soft the most as well out the three of them. Ashrow Diamond showed plenty in victory and Under Control split them, who's bounced back and ran to her mark. She could be more of a kind of handicap chance. I think she'd probably be quite interesting in a county hurdle off 137. But yeah, the winner did it well. Ran to her mark, and it's not far off Lossymouth. And while there is obviously much more potential in Lossymouth and class and pace, the figures don't show that yet, and therefore you can make a case that this Mares Hurdle isn't a penalty kick that the market seems to be.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. River Dawn was won by Kerry Hill, beat Welcome to Carthage really well, I thought. A good performance. What do you think of this?
This was good. I see Ruth Jefferson having a very good horse, but he absolutely breezed into it and beat a decent horse. I thought was a pretty nailed on banker for Nichols in terms of 130 form, solid. He looks probably going to improve. I think he ran to his mark, but the winner, I think the plan is to go Sefton, Aintree, and he will be a chaser in time. So I mean, yeah, he looks like a kind of very good 3 mile chaser. He might be one for the Cato Star Novice next year.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we'll move into Fairy House. We've got a couple to mention. We can group them in together for the rest of the races. Jade de Grugy won the Sol Arena. and then you had Argentino Boy win the bumper. I think Jade de Gruge probably, yes, Willie Mullins said after the race that she's probably just as advanced as his other winners of this race in the past, the likes of Lorena, the likes of Concertista. And I think we could have the best of the Irish here.
Yeah, I did mention last week that this will probably make it three kind of joint favourites roughly at the top of the market, and she's now edging favouritism after that. They went a crawl, and she picked up quite well and looked better as the race developed. She's won 2.5. She's now won 2 mile. 2 mile won't be a bother in that evidence at all. And yeah, the kind of Kenny Alexander, Willie Mullins factor as well. We'll probably see her go off favourite in the day. Sartinos has got a £5. Will have £5 swing. Probably hasn't shown her full hand either. But yeah, you couldn't knock the way she did it. I think a couple others were a bit disappointing in behind, which might pin the form down a little bit. But yeah, she's bang there. I think Brighter Days Ahead might be the weakest out of the three at the moment.
What about Argentino Boy? Well, can I jump into
Yeah,
kind of bumpers? Argentino Boy was good, and then the other day, the day after that, you Jasmine DeVoe as well. So I think we're beginning to see Willie Mullins bumper horses kind of come into the
They're
fore.
beginning to emerge, aren't they? It's absolutely flying. I think he's the most successful January ever in his training career, which is an ominous sign coming into this week. They're all kind of beginning to fire now, and and others are coming out the woodwork left, right, and centre for various different things. So yeah, Argentino Boy, relation to Briars Hill, who won a champion bumper, he's done it quite well. What he's beat is open to question, and I think Jasmine Detoy was better, and he's now favourite for it at Naas, which is normally kind of he was favourite because it's one of these rare bumpers where it was actually truly run. You can actually see the horse's kind of ability. It's the second made it a good test, and he's just sauntered away from them. So it's whether I did actually, if I look at him the week before it, when he was introducing the market, because I did have a feeling that Willie Mullins would reveal something that week, and it's been him. His pedigree didn't scream pacey champion bumper. He's probably a kind of better prospect down the line. He's point to point winner. He didn't really exchange hands for that much money either that you'd think, but yeah, he looked classy, and he's certainly the top of the tree in the Mullins pecking order. And I think I think you've probably handled better ground better than market rival Jalan de Dairy. So if I had to back one tomorrow, it would probably be Jasmine Detoy for the champion bumper.
Yeah, I liked it as well. Sunday Naas, we'll go with Embassy Gardens, won the Finlay Fold at Naas. Really, really good performance. 1 by 10 lengths, beat Sandor Clegane. Has went to about kind of 5-2, 3-1 for the National Hunt Chase. Similar to last year, I get why he's top of the National Hunt Chase market, but he's just not. I know he done it well, but he's just not for me.
No, fooled into him in the Bartlett when he went off favourite.
Yeah.
Quite a few people, and he'd have boiled over and disappointed. Could the same thing happen over at Cheltenham again? Well, I mean, the travelling aspect's one kind of query that you have to answer. He's not been in a battle yet either. Everything's been
No.
kind of easy for him. You'd expect the National Hunt Chase to kind of throw up maybe a few more kind of question marks for him, but he did it in the way that Statler did it that year, and it was fine for him. But he might just have too much class for them. That's the kind of thing if he's Willie Mullins is number one, then he might not have to get down and dirty and actually fight them off. And if he is too classy, he will be too classy and they'll win. Galdamir was ultimately too classy before being outpaced. I think he's maybe get a bit more kind of. He'll probably travel a bit sweeter than him throughout it. It's just whether something kind of pitches in there and digs deep. But I think that was the kind of borderline 150 performance. But there are good hardened horses. I still like Salvador Ziggy, for instance, that will ask him a question, and it's when he has to battle, he might not have the answers to him. He looks and what's shaping up to be a pretty good race of it. He looks too short to be.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Sander Clegane on the inside was in the worst part of the ground as well, so he probably the run of the race. And the third, let's be clear about it again, hasn't seen out his race. So he's form in behind's open to playing the question.
With a couple of decent mares run at Doncaster, Dysart Enos won the novices hurdle. Again, she's kind of jumped back to kind of top of the novice hurdle market. She hasn't beat much at all. She done it well. And then I saw a tweet from you that said you think that Marie's Rocket 9-1 could be the worst price for the Cheltenham Festival.
Well, she was 7, and now she's out of 9, so people have already listened to me in that one. Yeah, I mean, she's just exposed. They went a crawl there, and she's outstayed them. But she's trying to be mid 140s. I think there's a queue that are at the top of the market that are ready to improve past her, and I think she's badly exposed, and I think she should be about a 16-1 chance really as an each way poke. If she gets a strong pace and they overdo it, she might come into the equation. That's kind of the best that you could probably hope for. And as for Dysart, so that was an easier race than the one she won at Cheltenham. And it's all about potential. And if you think she's a real deal and she can win, I think there's plenty more to come. Again, it's whether J.D. Grugy might be a little bit more kind of pacer streetwise, but I can see that. I think if you like Dysart, I think you can wait in the day, because I think they will just plough into this Mullins horse, particularly if he's having a good week. I think she can go out to 11-2, 6-1 potentially on the day. So if you like her, wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Two final horses for Willie Mullins on Monday in Punchestown. Billericay Dicky, who was a lot of a big talking horse, and then on Tuesday we saw Mr. Jeef. So any of them can I take your eye for the festival?
Will they get there? That's the thing. They're coming out quite late, and I think Billericay Dicky was one that he's probably inclined to keep over here. He won it well, 11 lengths, comfortable. I think he was mooting kind of Fairy House. There was a race there. He was wanting to get another run into him even before he was going to Cheltenham, and you're all of a sudden it's going to be kind of quick turnover. Yeah, he's on potential, on connections. Yeah, he'd be a player in a really open, barring Bingham at the moment. I would say. The other one, he's been pretty good. He's annihilated a good field there. He's a 106 rated horse, which you don't think, but he's beaten by 18 lengths, and he certainly ran to his mark. So he's ran 130 there about in his hurdling debut, which is pretty impressive. It's the same race that Stateman won. He can't get a mark, but he's got maybe a big decision to kind of whether should I pitch this guy in. He might go Aintree with him or something. They might pitch him in like an El Fabiolo instead. I think Cheltenham might be a bit too much. But if horses blow at their copybook, Double Racing Festival, Ballyburn, Daddy Longlegs, things like that, these are the horses that might elevate into the Cheltenham picture rather than run later. So there was another way was quite good as well, where he thought was kind of a summer horse at Punchestown. He thought it was more of a kind of summer horse, but he really impressed him. He was taken aback. So he went up in Willie Mullins' estimations, but so seeing the Double Racing Festival coming up, there's so much ammunition. It's quite scary, and they're all kind of coming to the boil at the right time. I think Townend was like 16 for 21 or something at some point in the last couple of weeks. In Willie Mullins was at 45%, and he's having multiple runners in the same races. It's stratospheric stuff.
Yeah, absolutely is. We'll move on to our preview for the weekend. As I say, we'll do an in-depth preview of the Dublin Racing Festival in our next video, but we're going to touch on the Scilly Isles at Sandown and then best bets for Sandown and Musselburgh. We'll start with the Scilly Isles. Probably not the best Grade 1 we've ever seen, Callum, but Hermes Allen leads the market 11-8. You get Jello, Le Patron, Colonel Harry, Nickelback. I just see this as Hermes Allen if he does what he did, even in the King George, the Cotto Star, he should win this.
I think he'll win this. I think he's probably pretty good. Just the interesting factor is that Ginny's Destiny is still lumped into the equation here. He might have to run two very good horses in the tunnels against Gaelic Warrior. They might be second and third favourite respectively after this. Le Patron on his course and distance form, he's actually a pound clear of him in the ratings. He's definitely main danger. Jello tipped up in that good race at Lingfield early on through no fault of his own. Really, just got a broadside and kind of wiped out of it. Really. You still get to kind of shrug that off. Colonel Harry was a bit underwhelming last day, but again, on figures as a chance. He's short enough at 64, but I do think Hermes Allen will probably win this. Corbett's Cross was an interesting kind of token entry in this. He seems to be going elsewhere. I think there's a kind of 3 mile route later midweek in Ireland for him.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your kind of other races at Sandown's, Reckon? Can I jump out to you?
I'll scroll down. There wasn't much. The handicap race, I thought Magical King had a little chance in the 125. Jinko Blues probably quite unexposed, but is carrying top weight. In the 2 o'clock, I quite like the Harry Fry horse of in Excelsius Dio, who was kind of second in a decent race at Cheltenham. I don't think this is as strong. Um, he was kind of a bit clumsy, not fluent learning the job that day, but he did bump into a well handicapped rival in Madara, and he still ran pretty well. And I think a replication of that will go close. So him at 2-1 would have a reasonable shout, I would think.
And in regards to Musselburgh, we've got the Scottish Trials weekend on Saturday and Sunday. We've got some great racing, Callum. I'm going to just give the floor to you for a couple of minutes and tell us your best bets for Musselburgh.
Musselburgh, oh well, on the Saturday, I think the Irish will do quite well. I think the Raiders, this is now up to a Premier meeting, so they've thrown a lot of prize money at it. Hopefully Musselburgh get the reward. But Ireland have definitely noticed that. A jackpot de Choiseul has good course and distance form in the first. I think 5-1 against the field where Montmoral just hasn't shown anything for a long, long time now. I don't think he's shown enough to be 5-2 favourite in that race. So take him on with that. Take him on with the Irish there. I think Gavin Cromwell's got a good chance in Edinburgh National. Beaches and Cream, it's been supported into favouritism, but 6-1, I think's reasonable enough. In the county, I think Paul Nicholls will get in the board with Affordale. He was very impressive coming last year, where I actually was on track that day to kind of deliberately punt him in the 4-year-old race, and he won quite well. The fact he's just coming back here, course and distance form, Freddie Ginger on board, taking 5 off. I think 13-2 is a pretty reasonable bet in a race where everyone's quite exposed. I do think first impression might be a slight danger at tens, so that there's probably decent cover here. The Stairs Novices Hurdle, it's only a 5-runner race. I quite like the outside of the 5 here. And Ottosini of the Crawfords, it's about 18-1. Mainly because he pulled up last day, but he's rated 1-2-1. He's getting weight from all of them here. Florida Dreams probably sets the standard just about, but he was a bit disappointing in higher company last time out. I can see him coming back to form here. Farnash pulled up last time for Paul Nicholls. They're giving away weight. Caddill disappointed last time. Got Your Back looks pretty limited for the McCains. So Ottosini's got decent Irish form back in the day, and I just think 18-1 is far too big a kind of discrepancy against top of the market, and a race of that nature as well. It's a 3-mile staying race. I think that's fine. 4 o'clock, I think Half Shot's got a really good chance, and I like the second string of Ian Jardin's Can't Stop Now in the last. So that would be Musselburgh for Saturday.
What about Sunday? I can jump out at you.
Sunday again, it's the race that Affordale was in. Leari, 13-8 favourite. Paul Nicholls, he sends quite a good juvenile up to this, and I think he can win. I think he could win that, and even Harry Cobden's jocked up for that race. So I think he's going to win the opener. There's a bit less on the Sunday because I haven't really seen declarations, but for the Supreme Trial, I do like the Fairclough Brown horse Recoup.
Mm-hmm.
He was wildly impressive in the debut at Ludlow. He beat a kind of a Nicky Henderson horse that is not kind of festival related form, but he was a kind of well thought of kind of tier 2 kind of horse. Chocolaka, I think was his name. He's 41 second favourite. I think he'll run quite well there. Absolute Notions is an interesting entry, obviously in the Pertomp qualifier. Whether he takes it up or not, I don't know. 1-4-3. I don't think he's particularly well handicapped either. He wouldn't really be on my mind for the final. Finally, Scottish Champion Chase. I think Petit Tonnerre should run well at 5s. The JP team. I think he's been kind of crying out for this kind of 2.5 mile trip a little bit. This is a bit down in grade, but he's not handicapped out of it at all. 10-9's a lovely weight. I'd expect John Joe Jr. to be on board, and I think he'll go close in a pretty competitive race. But yeah, that's Musselburgh by and large for me.
Very good. We'll move on to the final part of the show, our anti-post selections. Callum, I've been racking my brains trying to find a pick, and nothing jumps out at me, so I think you're going to be on your own this week. I think I'll have 2 next week just to make it up. I think we're even. I think we've had the same amount of picks, so I'll pick 2 next week. What is your pick in this week's episode.
Yes, this is kind of put up and shut up time, isn't it? And obviously with the DRF coming around the corner, you could either look, very clever or very stupid. Just beforehand, see a lot of people probably burnt by the way Gaelic Warrior are going in Salvador Monday and things like that. For me, it's in the Baron Bingham. It's 14-1 each way, and it's Slade Steel.
Okay.
I think this horse will shape quite well, like in the Pocket Wood last year in the 2 mile at the Dublin Racing Festival. I think that might be the best piece of form going forward into Cheltenham, because while we've seen decent performances in the Laws and Nace, Gidley Park, yeah, they've ran okay. Haven't seen anything that's kind of jumped out and think, yeah, that's the Ballymore winner, which is rare for this time of year. I think Slide Steel did okay in bumpers in behind Ballyburn. He was never ever going to be a bumper type. I think he ran pretty well on debut at Naismith, and King of Kingsfield's actually franked the form. He looked better at the line. King of Kingsfield's now kind of solid 140 horse. Gigginstown are hoping that he's the supreme horse. That's how desperate they are. Up and trip, he looked better at Navan. 2 mile 4, it was a slowly run kind of race. He was a bit short of room at the last, and he just ran on the run in when Lecky Watson came to me, just readily pulled out more, and I quite like that. That was kind of like a sign of good efficiency. Lecky Watson's a solid kind of back market. It's not a race that's going to put up much trees, but I think he's getting the hang of it. I think better ground won't hold too many fears for him. I just think he's probably going to begin to kind of start peaking now. I think he's a kind of a spring horse. I think he's got a decent enough reputation, and I think he's definitely a 2.5 mile. And the good thing is he's been tried at 2.5 miles. So I think whatever he does at Dublin Racing Festival's a bonus. I think he might shape well in the third, fourth, stay on, do well, and then that'll point them definitely to the Baring Bingham, where, if Ballyburn, the favourite, does win, he probably goes supreme, and he's the only horse in collateral form wise that you'd be a bit worried with Slade Steel. And if he goes the other way,
Comes an open race.
He's not got much to kind of beat in the figures. I don't see not many impress me at the top. But Atlantique could go supreme. Firefox apparently is going supreme. Gidley Park, he ran okay, but he didn't enhance his claims. And I think after the Laws and Ace, everyone was kind of leaning that way, going, well, this could actually go to the Brits. It might not. I think it's increasingly likely that a horse that's masquerading the 2 mile division will step up and trip here and take this, and it could be him. Yeah. And I think if it was 10s, 10 non-runner no bet, but I'm happy to kind of throw the dice at 14s, because I'm pretty confident that he won't win this weekend, and I'm pretty confident he'll stay on and maybe be kind of each way place. Even like second, third, fourth would be ideal. If he wins, it might even be a bonus, because I do think he's a 2.5 miler down the line anyway. So if he does go supreme, then I wouldn't be kicking myself for it, because I do think he should be running in the 2.5 mile race anyway, because I think he'd be better in that race regardless of what he does in the weekend. So I'm happy to kind of take the 14s with Betfair rather than the 10s no bet, to kind of maybe make it a bit juicier each way.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good pick. I did think you were leaning towards that. You've been playing him up for a while, so I'm glad to see him on your list. And we are going to wrap up this week's Road to Cheltenham. Now, Callum, it's been a pleasure as always, mate. I'll see you in about 2 minutes for when we record the Dublin Racing preview. Thank you very much.
Yeah, see you soon.
Thank you very much, folks. Enjoying our Dublin Racing Festival preview, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.